And so, hello
there.
there, and welcome back to another Night of the Movies video. I'm, of course, Spike Knight, and in these videos, I love talking all things movies and TV, and whatever I want, whenever I want. And in today's video, I'm joined by a special guest again.
Your old friend.
Yeah, old friend Lewis, and we are once again going through his first thoughts on a Hobbit movie, but it's not the first Hobbit movie this time. No, instead it is the second Hobbit movie, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. So, let's get into it. Lewis's first thoughts on The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. Now, just before we get into his first thoughts, I'm going to go through my thoughts and I'm going to go through some context regarding the film as well. So, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug was released in Christmas of 2013 and had Peter Jackson, who directed all three Lord of the Rings films, and the first Hobbit movie back at the helm, back in the directing chair for this movie. And you have many returning cast members from the first film, of course, and you also have some returning cast members from the Lord of the Rings movies in this film too, including Orlando Bloom as Legolas. Well, he's really the only one who is in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and he wasn't in the first Hobbit movie, but is in this one and is also in the third one. And I remember going to watch this film at the cinema in Christmas of 2013 and being deliriously excited. I've spoken about at length my love of the first Hobbit on this channel, and I went to watch this film. I remember in, the days leading up to Christmas, the days leading up to the release of this film in 2013, I was counting down the days. I wanted to see how the story continued. I wanted to see how Smaug was realised on the big screen. And I went to the cinema, and I was holding my breath when the film started, and then about 5 minutes in, I was locked in. I was loving it all over again. I was transfixed by what was going on. I felt immersed into the world. I found it so exciting, so exhilarating.
It felt very special.
Yeah, it felt very special, and I ended up loving this one more than I loved the first Hobbit movie. I think this one deepens the connections between our central characters. I think it introduces new characters in exciting ways, and I think it deals with those new characters, or kind of returning characters in a way, in a very exciting fashion. And I also think that the use of Smaug is absolutely excellent. And over the years since I saw this film, was it 12 years ago now, which is mad to say.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, over the years since I saw this movie for the first time, my love of it has only grown. Every time I rewatch it, I still have those nostalgic feelings I had when I first watched it. The first Hobbit movie made me realise how amazing the cinema experience, how amazing going to the cinema can be, and this film deepened that even more so. And yeah, the more I watch this film, the more I love it. Sure, it has its problems, and I'm not saying it's as good as any of the Lord of the Rings movies, not at all, but I love watching the film to pieces. It's enormously enjoyable. There's so much that I love about this film, and I understand it's not for everybody. I understand the Hobbit trilogy has its detractors and whatnot, and I understand why to a certain point, but I'm someone who hasn't read the Hobbit book, neither has Lewis, so, we're watching these. Yeah, maybe one day, but we're watching these films. Well, he's watching these films for the first time, and I watch these films for the first time as somebody who doesn't know anything about the source material. So my feelings on it are going to be different, and his feelings are going to be different than somebody who has read the source material. That's just how it works. So yes, I love the second Hobbit movie, and it's my favourite Hobbit movie still now. So, on to Lewis's thoughts. What did you think of The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug?
I love the movie just like I love the first one, to be honest with you. I know you said the second one is your favourite, and I said that I love the first and the second one just as much as each other. But I think
you still prefer the first one.
I'm not so sure about that now, to be honest with you. I think okay. I'm like this with the first and the second one. Like they're both in strong contention.
Yeah, what I like about the second one is how it gets going really quick and it doesn't stop moving.
It just gets right into it.
Yeah, and then
it's not slow,
it constantly is building up and things keep happening and you think, okay, that's the worst. At the end of the first film, Bilbo says, I do think the worst is behind us. And then you go through this movie, it's like, that's terrible, that terrible thing's happening, that terrible thing's happening, that's terrible thing's happening. Then you get to Smaug and it's like, okay, wow.
Well, I think one thing that might sway me more towards the second one is I love how you get to see the elves again.
Oh, yeah, the elves. They were in the third film too.
Yeah.
I did show you the trailer, so yeah.
Well, I felt like the elves were missing from the first one, to be honest.
They are in it a bit, but they're not like Legolas.
I missed him. I felt like I was missing Legolas.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that feeling, and I think he is used well. There's some people who criticise use of Legolas in the film, because in the Lord of the Rings movies, he's peaceful, he's calm. I mean, he's he's ruthless as well.
He's still a killer.
But at the same time, he's an elf, and you really get the essence of the elf from him, if you will, when you watch Lord of the Rings movies. Whilst in this film and in the third Hobbit movie, he's more ruthless. He's more, I'm ready to kill.
He's angrier.
Yeah, he's angry, exactly. I couldn't think of the word angrier there. So, what did you think of the slight change? Because I do think it is a slight change. You can still see that Legolas character in there, but what did you think of the slight change?
Well, I thought it worked and made sense, because the Hobbit movies are set before Lord of the Rings one, so you could argue that over time he'd learned to... Over time, from when the Hobbit's set to when Lord of the Rings is set, he'd become more calmer, and after he'd met more people, people just change.
Let's go on to some questions that I've posed for you.
So I just want to correct myself. When I say people, I should have said, well, people, or, well, he's an elf.
Well, all the different beings.
All the different beings.
Because you get hobbits, you get dwarves, you get, people, but then you get people who have lived, hundreds of years, like Aragorn is somebody who's, I think he's, I can't remember what age he is, but he's something like 80 or 90, if I'm not mistaken. The one who becomes king in the Lord of the Rings movies. He's really old. I think they say in the second movie. Apologies, I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but he's really old. So it's kind of funny how the world of Middle Earth works. But it's so enticing at the same time. I think that's one of the things that makes us, that attracts us to these films. Anyway, what did you think of the story of this film and how it continued on from the first film?
I love the way it continued on. I love how, I know the first 5 minutes were a flashback, but then you feel like but then it feels you right into where the first film left off. I quite like the plot. I like how the one end goal was to find and meet the dragon and find out if he's actually real or not, and try and defeat it. But
see if he was still alive, because he knew he was real. See if he was still alive.
But it took him a long time to do that. You see, most of the film is their journey to
which I like. Yeah.
I liked it. And I'll tell you what I'd compare it to: Minecraft. The Ender Dragon. It takes such a long time to get to the end.
I thought we were going to talk about the Minecraft movie, and I was like, God, let's never talk about that.
No,
not
a Minecraft movie. But I'm comparing it to the Ender Dragon in Minecraft, for example. Okay. All you Minecraft fans who like playing Minecraft, there might be.
He's a big Minecraft lover.
I am, and you might have a few viewers that play Minecraft.
Maybe,
it is the best-selling game of all time, after all. Do you see it makes sense,
Thoughts on the new characters. So you had Tariel, who is a she-elf.
Yeah.
You had Thranduil, who is briefly in the first one, but is mostly introduced in this film. He's Legolas' father, the King Elf. You have Bard, the Laketown guy who brings him in all in the barrels.
Oh, yeah.
You have Bjorn, the shapeshifter. He's not in it much. He's on it at the beginning. And you have other characters introduced. Of course, Smaug.
I like all the ones that you've mentioned just then.
Well, the only that stood out to you.
The guy who saved him, who smuggled him in on the boat and had it in the barrels full of fish into Laketown, I really spoilers there if you've not seen the film.
If you've not watched it, you're watching this video today, I'd be very surprised.
You never know, somebody could be watching this to make them think, to make them decide whether they want to watch the film or not.
Yeah. I'm waiting on Lewis's opinion. If he likes it, I'm going ahead.
Yeah. You never know. You never know.
You never know.
I was gonna say. He stood out to me. I really liked his morals. I liked how he was very skeptical at first, very cautious. He was tempted to kill them, but in the end he didn't, and he helped them out. And if it wasn't for him, they would have been toast. I also really liked the Tariel. Tariel, the she elf. I thought she was an extremely important character in the film.
And there's a bit of romance between her and Kelly, one of the dwarves. So there's a bit of a Romeo and Juliet romance going on there.
I thought her and Legolas together were unstoppable. The duo.
Yeah, and you see more of that in the third film. I do think the action sequences are done well. People criticise the action sequence in this movie. I just don't get it personally. Of course, Smaug. What did you think of Smaug? How could I forget that? Okay, what did he think of Smaug?
Well, to be honest with you, before we met him, I wasn't even sure if the dragon was actually going to speak or not.
Oh yeah, it's Benedict Cumberbatch.
I forgot. You have told me that. It just
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Plays him. You actually see him playing the dragon. It's not just voicing him.
Yeah, I liked how the dragon didn't just straight up try and kill them right away. He actually,
you have that conversation between him and Bilbo,
and you get to know the dragon.
Yeah, he has that conversation between him and Bilbo, which is like Sherlock and Watson, because of course they played opposite each other in the BBC Sherlock series.
Oh yeah.
So you have a little Sherlock reunion in this film, and
he's 49 now, Benedict Cumberbatch.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Look, if you see here, these are images of him actually playing Smaug. You know, this is gonna load up. So the motion capture, and he does all the voicing. The voice work's really impressive in my opinion as well. Not just
you won't think he'd have to do all those actions because that's what CGI is for.
That's what it is, but also, you know, there's ways of making it look better. And I think there's ways of making it look more realistic and bringing it more to life. If you didn't do that, then Smaug may not have been as convincing. In the end, he's a talking dragon. He shouldn't really work. You should be going, well, I'm watching a talking dragon in this film. But he makes it convincing, in my opinion, with the way he does the voice and these movements. And it's the same thing with Smeagol. It's how they did Smeagol in Gollum in the...
Smeagol?
Brilliant. In the previous Hobbit movie and in the 3 Lord of the Rings films. He's now got his own thing. You're not laughing at the joke. Anyway, so you like Smaug?
Yeah, he's definitely one of my favourite characters. I wasn't disappointed in the character. I was a little bit surprised at how long we had to wait to meet him, if I'm honest. But
I mean,
but it meant we got a lot
good things come to those who wait.
Exactly, it meant we got an extra big adventure with them looking for him.
And he's in it for about 40 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, so that is quite a while.
And he is in the third film too.
The last 40 minutes.
I'm not going to say how much he's in the third film because that's a spoiler, but he is in the third film as well. So it isn't the end. Isn't the last we've seen of Smaug. What was your favourite sequence in the film? Or any standout moments?
Definitely several. The barrel scene where they're escaping on the barrels from the prison. I love that. They go being washed down the river.
Mm-hmm.
I think the scene where the battle sequence where the elves come and save them before they lock them up.
Oh, with the spiders.
Yeah, the spiders.
Yeah, the spiders are one of my favourite sequences. I remember watching that in the cinema, literally going like this a little bit because I was so excited. When Bilbo escapes and he stabs the spider and goes, "Sting, not a bad name." One of my favourite lines in all these movies. I just love the way Martin Freeman says that to Bilbo. Anyway, continue.
I'd say that the scene towards the end of the film where they're escaping from the dragon.
I was going to ask, what is there any standout moments for you with Smaug?
Well, that'd be one of them.
For me, it's Smaug.
I don't have a lot because I feel like I've not got to know the dragon particularly well.
Well, I think that's kind of the point, to be honest. Yeah. You expect that the dragon's going to be this. Well, you expect the dragon's going to be the be all and end all, and without going into spoilers for the third film, he is. But he isn't. There's more to these movies.
That's a question I definitely find easier to answer after watching the third film.
I think the standout moment for me with Smaug is when he's just talking to Bilbo, and Bilbo's like coming up with names for himself, and he says Bowl Rider, and he goes Bowl Rider. I can't do a Smaug impression too well, but anyway, you get the point I'm making. I love the stuff between Bilbo and Smaug. What did you think of the stuff at Laketown?
I really liked Laketown. Laketown was one of my favourite sequences of the movie.
I think
it's a good idea. It's basically like it was like the scruffy medieval Venice.
I was about to say something there for the third film, but
it'd be a spoiler.
Big spoiler.
I found it interesting. Is it Bard? I found it interesting. It was nice meeting Bard's family. His kids, not his missus.
They were actually kind of important.
Died. Spoiler.
In that scene where the dwarves are trying to be nice to him, and he's like, "Oh, my wife has died," and Balin's going, "I'm so sorry." And Dwyer in the back just going, "Enough with these niceties." I love that word. Anyway,
I just like Laketown. If it was a real town in real life, I'd want to visit.
Brilliant. You found it that believable, people. Anyway, what did you think of Gandalf's storyline? Because obviously he separates from the company in this film.
I'm going to be honest, I found it a bit confusing. I wasn't too sure half the time where Gandalf actually was. Well, I wasn't thinking about him.
Well, essentially, there's this Dark Lord coming back, and he's coming back at this kingdom which looked like it's been abandoned for years, called Dogador, and That's where all the evil's coming from. That's where all the orcs that you see in the films are coming from. I might as well be talking Dutch to him.
Oh,
I might as well go.
I'm listening.
But yeah, that's where all the all the orcs.
Yeah,
that you see, that's where they're all coming from.
Yeah,
he's putting them on the company, and he's essentially spreading evil around the world. So all the evil in the Lord of the Rings movies kind of comes from him.
Well, we compared him to the Emperor in Star Wars, didn't we?
Yeah, which is not a bad comparison, considering he is essentially Sauron, who was the big evil in the Lord of the Rings movies.
Do we get to know him a bit more in the third film?
No, not really, but that's because you got to know him in the Lord of the Rings films, kind of.
Yeah.
It's difficult to explain. There's more to it if you go into the whole lore and everything. But yeah, so you weren't huge on Gandalf's storyline.
Not really, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say, oh, I absolutely loved it when.
Well, no, but it's got a good conclusion. I think you'll like how it's concluded. Because bear in mind, he's trapped in that cage right now.
Well, I do like Gandalf.
He's trapped in the cage. That's the last we saw of him.
Yeah, and it's hard to watch because I think it's the first time that we've actually seen somebody really get the better of Gandalf.
Well, yeah, kind of, because then obviously he sacrificed himself at the end of the first Lord of the Rings movie, but he doesn't really. He comes back. Comes back in a new form in the second one. So yeah. What did you think of the orcs in this film? Did you like the use of the orcs?
Yeah, definitely. I thought the orcs are the most probably the most vicious and savage that I've seen them before. They seem to just get better and better.
What did you think of that cliffhanger where Smaug is flying off to destroy Laketown and Bilbo goes, "What have we done?"
Well, I'm gonna be honest. It's got me asking a million questions in my head as to what's actually going to happen, because it's like if he continues his flight to Laketown, he gets there, he's ready to. It's like, what are they going to do?
Exactly, Laketown is made of wood. They don't really stand a chance.
No, it'd be like the Great Fire of London.
Yeah, I mean. Anyway, but the thing is,
Pudding Lane.
Brilliant. I had to wait. He's probably have to wait for like a fortnight or maybe a bit longer than that to see what happens.
Yeah.
I had to wait for a whole year
to
find out what happened there. I remember sitting in the cinema, and when I got to the end of the film, I turned to my brother and next to me, like, "Oh my god, I have to wait a year." I was literally waiting for it to come back on and just show what happened next. And I know people don't like the cliffhanger, but I love it because this trilogy was always intended as a trilogy. They're always going to connect with one another, and I think it works. And I think it makes you want to watch the third one, which is not a bad thing.
It's made me want to watch the third one, definitely.
But we will do that soon. It won't be as quick. We won't post our reaction to the third film as quick as we post our reaction to the second movie, because we've got other things we're planning to do, and life is going to get in the way over the next couple of weeks. But hopefully before Christmas, he will have watched the third film.
I should definitely have seen it before.
How does it compare to the second Lord of the Rings movie, in your opinion? Did you like it more? Did you like it less? Did you think that it was more? Yeah, how did it compare?
I think unless my memory serves me wrong, didn't I say that the second Lord of the Rings film was my favourite out of the three?
I think you did at the time. I think that's a lot of people's favourites when you don't really think more about it.
Well, I really enjoyed the second Lord of the Rings film, but at the end of the day, I think I found that I personally preferred The Hobbit. So I think I'm going to have to go with the film we've just watched. I mean, it's
not a popular opinion, but I'm also not going to say. I said
this last time.
Yeah, I'm also not going to say it's a completely unpopular opinion, because I do know people out there, and there are people online who prefer the Hobbit movies. It's kind of the same way people think about the Star Wars prequels. They grew up watching these films, and although I prefer the Lord of the Rings movies, I will always have an affection for the Hobbit movies because I grew up watching them. They were my first proper introduction to the cinema experience. So I kind of get it. It's the same way people view the Star Wars prequels. Like I said, some people prefer the Star Wars prequels over the original Star Wars trilogy. Yeah. And I can tell you in about 10 years' time, there'll be people out there who prefer the Star Wars sequel trilogy over the original trilogy and over the prequel trilogy. It's how things work.
I'm the other way around with Star Wars. I prefer the originals.
Yeah, but a lot of people, they grew up watching the prequels. You didn't really watch the prequels growing up. You'd only really see...
If anything, I grew up watching the originals.
Exactly.
Not literally, but...
And it's like Doctor Who as well. The Doctor you grew up with, the chances are, is your favourite Doctor.
David Tennant.
Exactly.
And a bit of Christopher Eccleston as well.
Exactly. We grew up watching those Doctors. I mean, for me it was really David Tennant and then Matt Smith, so they're my favourite Doctors, but you get the point I'm making. And, there's a little Doctor Who linked to this film. The 7th Doctor is in this film as Radagast the Brown, if people didn't know that already. So yes, there's a lot of Doctor Who linked there.
I don't know.
I did point it out in the last one, but he's classic.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you did point it out. I remember.
The wizard with all the animals.
Oh yeah, he says Seventh Doctor.
Yeah.
I was thinking that he meant like the Doctor that we're gonna get today. Like,
No. Kind of what he asked already, but just to solidify everything, to bring everything to a conclusion, this film is often considered the best Hobbit movie. Do you agree with that at this point, having not watched the third film?
Yeah, definitely. As much as I like the first one, I think the fact that is it Smaug?
Smaug.
Smaug. The fact that
I mean, you kind of get away with. That's not as bad as you saying orbs in the last video when the orbs were chasing after him. I was a bit like, orbs? Really? Is it that late in the evening already?
Star Wars. Yeah. Well, I think the fact that they're actually introduced to the dragon in this film, Smaug.
Well, you do see him in the first one. You don't really see him. You just see like his tail, his wings, his eye.
I know.
And this one you see him in.
Well, he's in this one properly. We get to properly meet him. Lots of destruction, and also the fact that the elves come back in this one.
And the spiders. I remember you liking the spider sequence.
I do love the spider sequence.
He was during the spider sequence. He was going, so many satisfying moments here.
Brilliant. That sounds a bit.
And the battle in the battle sequence
sounds a bit sus. Yeah, this one is my favourite.
In the battle sequence, when, for lack of a better phrase, but this is how you characterise him, and I love this character, Bomber, the fat dwarf. When you see him with the barrel,
brilliant.
And he's rolling over.
He's got ginger hair.
Yeah, and then he gets the two axes out and starts fighting everyone in the barrel. Yeah. I love Bomber, by the way. I often think of myself as Bomber. I'm not saying him being fat is a bad thing, so don't come at me there. I'm not exactly spring chicken either. Anyway, so yes, you think this is your favourite Hobbit movie?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm gonna say that confidently. And
to finalise things, what are your anticipations for the third film?
Well, I think the third film.
There's a battle. It's in the title.
Yeah, I think the third film is going to start off with a giant battle after seeing how the second one ended with Smaug on his way to Laketown. Yeah, I'm anticipating that.
Okay, and of course you saw all the orcs marching.
I think there's going to be a bit of romance between the she-elf Tariel.
Yeah, Tariel. Yeah,
Tariel and
bit of Romeo and Juliet romance.
And what's the name of
the dwarf is called Killy.
And Killy, yeah. Well, those are my two anticipations. Are you mine first?
Are you anticipating an epic conclusion, if you will?
Yeah, I think. I'm not anticipating it to end in a cliffhanger because there's not been a fourth Hobbit.
I won't give away much.
Maybe at some point, maybe.
No. I won't give away much, but because it's a prequel to the Lord of the Rings films, it basically ends where Lord of the Rings begins.
Well,
so
it'd be nice if it was an ending where like they're all like riding off into like the sunset, something like that.
Like Last Crusade, Christ. All on the ponies, all on the goats. If you want, they see goats in the third film. You see goats in a battle at one point. They're all riding off with goats. That's not. It's not really a spoiler. It's just there's goats in the third film. That's all. Yeah, just like that. Do you think there'll be any deaths in the third film? I'm not giving anything away. I haven't told him.
Well, I think the fact that it's the last film, I think we might see a few deaths, maybe.
Any predictions on who might die? I'm not going to give anything away, even if he just say something.
Maybe I think it's not a trick question, is it?
Not a trick question. No. What do you mean? Any predictions on who might die? Little does he know. I'm not going to say anything. Have you got any predictions? Is there anybody who sticks out to you think maybe they could die?
I think
good or bad.
Maybe foreign, possibly. Maybe.
Anyone else? Legolas dies.
No.
Gandalf, Bilbo, they all die.
Maybe the other wizard. The wizard who loves animals.
Oh, right, yeah.
The other wizard, possibly.
It's not a bad guess. I mean, I've seen it, so I can't comment. But yeah, not a bad guess. So yeah, that's pretty much your thoughts on The Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug. Yeah. What would you rate this film out of 10?
I'd give it a strong, very bold 9. Give it the big one. Give it the beans.
Probably about a 9 from me as well. I'm coming at that rating off the top of my head. I haven't really sat down and thought about it like I usually do when I'm doing solo reviews, you know. So I say sit down and think about it. Usually I'm just like, what would I give this film? That's my sitting down and thinking about it. But I didn't do that for this review today. So yeah, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. It's not without its flaws, and I do think the extended version offers a little bit more. But I didn't show him the extended version today. No.
What happened in the extended version?
Well, you see a bit more at Laketown. You find out what happened to Thorin's father. It isn't a big thing there, but essentially he reunites with Gandalf and then he dies. So Thorin's father died before he reunites with him. So it's not a big thing. If you missed that, it's not a big thing. I think there might be a little bit more Smaug, but there's also a bunch of stuff at the beginning of the film which I think you could have easily taken out. Like a bunch of stuff with the spiders where they're going more insane in the forest, and it's like it's before the spiders, and it's just like it could take this out. Just get to the spiders, you know. And there's some more stuff with the shapeshifter, where all the dwarves are introducing themselves to him, which is quite funny. It's not a bad sequence, but it's not needed.
No, I think I'm quite happy with the fact I've just watched the.
But I will be showing a mixed ended version for the third film, because there's stuff in the third film if you just watch the theatrical cut which doesn't explain what's going on. Like you'd be getting to certain moments going, how did that happen? Where did that person get that? And when you watch the extended edition, it explains all of that. So I will be showing him the extended edition of the third film. But until then, you gave The Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug a 9 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stick with that.
You loved it.
Yeah, definitely. I'd watch it again. Same with the first one. So.
High praise from Lewis there, and
yeah, and I only praise a film if I genuinely like it and think it deserves praise.
There's a couple of times when I come out the cinema after watching a film and it's going, it was decent, and I'm like, I know what that bloody means. Anyway, but yeah,
it was decent. It was decent.
But yeah, I also love the film, which I've spoken about at length, and that's why I'm also going to give it a 9 out of 10. I've got Bilbo Sword there to give the rating.
You have to give that back to Bilbo. You do know that.
Oh yeah, Bilbo. I just made my way back to Middle Earth. I mean, I am Samwise Gamgee at the end of the day. You know, from The Lord of the Rings, I am Sam. So
yeah, that's true.
Probably with the beard, I don't look so much like him right now. But
yeah, I absolutely love your line at the end of, I think, is it the third Lord of the Rings, where you go, I can't carry the ring,
but I can carry you.
I can carry you.
One of the best moments in all of cinema, in my opinion.
Always great acting.
Yeah, and
great acting from you.
Thanks.
Is that right?
I take the compliment. But give it a month, and I'll shave the beard. I'll tell you now, I look like Samwise. I look like Samwise the Brave, as he's often called. But yes, that is our thoughts on The Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug. So, that is it for today's video. If you have seen The Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug, please let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section below, and let us know your thoughts on this video. If you enjoyed it, we're going to do more like it. If you didn't enjoy it, well, bug off. I don't mean that, but if you didn't enjoy it...
If you didn't enjoy it, then diddly squat.
Really, I mean, quoting Jamie Clarkson there, from Clarkson Farm, which hasn't even flipping watched. Anyway, let's carry on with the outro. Thank you as always for watching this video, and if you haven't yet, please click down below and like and subscribe on this video, and look forward to many more videos coming very, very soon on this channel. As already said, thank you so much for watching or listening to the video, because you can listen to the video support me, put it on in the background whilst you're doing something else. So thank you so much for watching or listening to this video, and I will see you guys again soon, but bye for now.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.